Why don't noodles start fights? Because they prefer to walk away. Welcome back to Berry Life, bringing you easy and delicious vegan and vegetarian recipes from around the world. Today we're sharing with you a deliciously chewy and umami-rich comfort food, scissor-cut noodles stir-fry. Also known as jjajangmyeon in Korean, these noodles are typically made with wheat or buckwheat flour and have a chewy texture. So let's get started. We'll begin by creating the dough. Here we have 450 grams of all-purpose flour, which is about 2 cups. You can use buckwheat flour instead to make it gluten-free. To it, we'll add 225 milliliters of water. That's going to be a 50% hydration. We'll add the water slowly and work it into the flour using chopsticks or a fork. This is an important step to get an even hydration. Oops, almost forgot the salt. Here we have 1 teaspoon of salt to flavor the noodles. We'll add the water a little bit at a time and mix to allow the dough to absorb evenly. When making a dough, whether it's a dough for noodles or pizza or bread, it's important to measure the ingredients in grams or milliliters. Recipes often state the level of hydration. For example, for this dough, it's 50% hydration, which means the ratio of flour to water is 2 to 1. The amount of water is 50% the amount of flour, because 1 milliliter of water weighs 1 gram. Once all the water is added, give it a good mix, and you should get a dough that clumps like this. You can also use a stand mixer for this, but sometimes it's fun to do this by hand. This step takes a couple of minutes as the flour is slowly soaking up the water. Just be patient with it. At this point, we'll work the dough by hand and take in all the flour left in the bowl. Then we'll turn it over onto our cutting board and give it the Hercules. If you feel the dough isn't coming together, feel free to dip your hand in a little bit of water and continue kneading. That little bit of moisture should be enough to help the dough come together. Kneading the dough properly is essential in noodle making, as it develops gluten. Gluten is the protein that gives noodles their structure and chewiness. Kneading ensures an even distribution of ingredients and enhances the dough's elasticity and strength, allowing it to be rolled or cut. Proper kneading results in a smooth, consistent texture and better elasticity, making the noodles less likely to break during cooking. Additionally, kneading helps to develop the dough's flavor, resulting in more delicious noodles. This step takes about 10 minutes. It's well worth the effort. It's a very meditative and stress-relieving activity. Just think about it. Have you ever met an angry baker? Once the dough is formed into a ball, we'll cover it up and let it rest for about 30 minutes to fully hydrate. You can also use a wet kitchen towel. The resting period allows all the flour granules to absorb water and expand while the gluten begins to form and bind. After the resting period, we should get a nice firm dough ball with a smooth exterior. While the dough hydrates, we'll chop up some chives. This should be about 1/4 cup. This technically counts as a serving of vegetable. Sometimes we add Thai basil, or Chinese broccoli, or shiitake mushrooms. Feel free to add in whatever vegetables you have on hand or like. The goal is to make it your own. And for a spicy element, some bird's eye chilies. If you're making this for the kids, you can skip it. With the prep done, we'll bring a pot of water to a boil and add in a liberal amount of salt. It's been about 30 minutes and our dough has hydrated nicely. It's a relatively firm dough ball, which is great for the scissors to cut through. So we'll take the scissors and begin snipping the noodles directly into the water. If the shape of the noodles aren't uniform, not a big deal. The point is to have fun and relax. It's called comfort food after all, not anxiety food. It took us about 5 minutes to cut this dough ball. Once you get the hang of it, it's really kind of fun. You can cut these into the water like I'm doing here, or cut them on the side on a plate. If you have a wonderful partner like I do, it really cuts the work in half, pun intended. Also, feel free to improvise on the shape of the noodles. After all, you are the Edward Scissorhands of your scissor-cut noodles. This is actually a great recipe to make with the kids for summer. You can portion the dough and try different colors using ingredients such as spinach or kale or beet juice. And if none of those are available, just try food coloring. Food is the ultimate art. Now that the noodles are cut, we'll stir them gently to prevent clumping. You can also add a little bit of oil into the water to help prevent sticking. These noodles take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes to cook, and they'll rise to the top when they're done. Now we'll do a doneness check to make sure they're cooked through. Yep, that does it. Now we'll turn off the heat and strain these noodles into a colander. If you're not going to use the noodles right away, you may want to drop them in an ice bath to prevent further cooking. However, since we're using them right away, we'll set it aside and heat up our wok. To a wok over medium-low heat, we'll add 1 tablespoon of cooking oil. Along with 3 tablespoons of butter or vegan butter. Then we'll add in 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. We'll saute the garlic until it's softened and fragrant, being careful not to burn it. Next, we'll kick it up a notch with our bird's eye chilies and 1 teaspoon of red chili flakes for that additional punch of heat. Now we'll give it a mix and allow the oil and the butter to be infused with the garlic and chilies. Keep the heat low to prevent burning as we make the sauce. Then we'll add 3 tablespoons of light soy sauce as our savory and umami rich component. This is providing the majority of salt, as we're not adding any additional salt to this dish. Once the sauce is thoroughly combined, we'll add in the cooked noodles. Along with some chives. We'll only add half now and save the rest towards the end, after we've turned off the heat. Then next, we'll add in a tablespoon of dark soy sauce. Not only does it add a bit of color, but it adds a bit of sweetness, which helps to round out the flavors and helps with caramelization when stir frying. Now we'll turn up the heat to allow the noodles to char. We'll give everything a nice toss and then add in more chives and sesame seeds for a bit of crunch. And that's it. Scissor cut noodle stir fry is ready. Let's dig in. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to let us know your favorite comfort foods in the comments below, or how you like this recipe. If you like this video, smash that like button and subscribe for more great content like this. Also check out the video description below for the full recipe. We'll top it off with more chives and dig in. These noodles are savory and satisfyingly chewy, with a little kick from the chilies. There you have it, scissor cut noodle stir fry, right in the comfort of your own kitchen. Thank you for watching. Enjoy!